So federal government budgets 9.4 billion naira for Tinubu Shettima's 2025 refreshment and trips. Can you imagine? Now, in a country where poverty is ravaging over 90% of the population, the president, the people in power are enjoying themselves full time. Tinubu came to power and started touring leisurely with his family, wife, and children. You can imagine now, and then he started refurbishing and building new houses, built for Vice President Lodge, built for him in his place, built for himself too in Lagos. Talking of buying hatch, so many things. Nigerians are suffering, and they will come out only to pay minimum wage. They can't pay minimum wage. Now look at 2025 budget. Now they are already padding it and putting all the things they want inside the budget. And then you say Nigeria people should not get angry or people should not do stupid things. Ha. I know that no anything that is not legitimate is not legitimate. But when you are undermining the suffering of the people and putting yourself first and enjoying taxpayers' money to the fullest, you and your family, it calls for questioning, I'm telling you. And that budget has been submitted to the National Assembly in less than 24 hours. The House of Representatives has already approved it. So maybe by today now, Senate will approve it as they are going out on recess for the Christmas and New Year break. Ha. And this means that now this budget did not raise dust like last year's budget. It means that their interests have been well protected and there's no argument. Look at what is happening now. Whopping 9.36 billion is budgeted for their travel around the world and enjoyment. Now, wow. So a 9.36 billion naira budget has been made for domestic and international travels and refreshments for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Shettima for the upcoming year 2025. Nigeria News reports that this information is detailed in the 2025 appropriation bill released by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. So on Wednesday, the president presented a budget proposal amounting to 49.7 trillion naira to a joint session of the National Assembly, that is the Senate and the House of Rep. So the fiscal document is titled Restoration Budget, Securing Peace and Building Prosperity. Can you imagine? So as per the budget proposal, President Tinubu is set to spend 7.44 billion naira on travels and refreshment, while Vice President Shettima will have 1.9 billion for similar expenses. So in 2025, the president's international travel is expected to cost 6.14 billion naira, with local trips amounting to 873.9 million naira for the whole year. And somebody will say, how much is that? That is no money. Why not cut down your trip, cut down your entourage in any trip you make and save the money for other development? When would we stop putting our interest in the budget before other things? Additionally, 431.6 million naira has been designed or designated for the president's refreshment, meals, and catering supplies. For the vice president, international travel expenses are projected at 1.31 billion naira, with local travel costing 417 million naira. So the budget for refreshment, meals, and the catering supplies for the vice president is set at 186.02 million naira. Can you imagine? So they're telling us now that they have broken it down now so that you know that the money means nothing to them. God will help the less privileged in the country. So in the first quarter of the 2024, President Tinubu, Vice President Shettima, and First Lady Remi Tinubu incurred travel expenses totaling no less than 5.24 billion for both local and international travel trips, as revealed by an analysis conducted using GovSpend, a civic technology platform that monitors and analyzes federal government expenditures. So after they have done that, then somebody will tweak it before it comes out. So the budget for presidency on cars, fuel, honorariums, special assistants, offices, and all of that. Meanwhile, the office of the president has put forward a budget of 4.7 billion naira for vehicles, which include 3.7 billion naira allocated for the acquisition of operational vehicles for the State House and 1 billion designated for the replacement of sport utility vehicles SUVs. So additionally, 255 million naira has been allocated for the purchase of cars, with 127 million naira specifically reserved for the procurement of SUVs for both the president and the vice president, and another 127.8 or 0.9 million naira set aside for operational vehicles within the presidential conference cars, conference car unit, that is CCU. Can you imagine? So, furthermore, a total of 5.9 billion naira has been proposed for honorariums, the construction of an office complex for the special advisors and senior special assistants, and fuel for generators. Can you imagine? Fuel for generators. Why can't we have power system to work even in the state house, even in the houses that are given to special assistants and advisors? Now, wow. So the budget outlines that 2.1 billion naira is designated for sitting allowances, honorariums, 1.99 billion naira for fuel, and 1.83 billion naira for construction of the office complex for special advisors and senior special assistants. Can you imagine? See the amount of money they have budgeted for themselves. Meanwhile, the entire country is wallowing in abject poverty. See, Christmas and New Year is coming now. More than 70% or 75% of families are not sure of eating rice this Christmas and New Year. But meanwhile, these guys are already putting things together for that. They have enjoyed this year to the fullest. Now the Senate, the House of Rep are now going on recession, Christmas and New Year break. Tinubu is already in Lagos, for the Christmas and New Year break from now. Enjoyment continues. Meanwhile, Nigerians are wallowing in abject poverty. The so-called taxpayers, the revenue generators, all the IGR they are getting from individual businesses and homes and private and public systems. Okay, they are putting them together. The tax individuals are paying is what they are dissecting it like this. The small money the oil is generating for the building of the country, this is how they are dissecting it. Now, this is the one belonging. What we're seeing in this budget now is what belongs to the president and his family, and then the vice president and his family. What about the Senate president? What about the General Federation? What about all other ministers? What about the Senate and the House of Rep? What about the Speaker of the House of Rep and Deputy Speaker of the House of Rep and their families? So at the end of the day, you now see that more than 50% of this budget is going to go to individuals in power, individuals in government, not just development of the people. The Senate, we don't know. If you go and check what Senate will collect now versus what will be allocated for what they call a constituency project, you are not going to see anything. We're not talking about the governor, so we're not talking about the local government councils. We're not talking about other parastatals and MDAs. Now, wow. So now let's get into some comments. I know that a lot of people will share my view. Some say that is the mind of a myopic person when we are talking of a budget of about 48 trillion, and someone here is identically referring to 9.4 billion traveling expenditure as if these leaders go and play disco when they travel. Wake up, Nigerians. Can you imagine? Somebody's already defending them here. Somebody is already defending them here. I say, please, sir, educate us on what they do or what they go to do as spokespersons for the presidency. Because the truth is that the entourage, only the entourage alone, is very, very wasteful. If a president is traveling, why not travel with the minimum number of persons? President will travel with hundreds of people. What are they doing? I think this year when they traveled to Saudi Arabia, I think when they also went to UAE, you see they had almost 1,000 people in the convoy that went, and so they had to even get almost 2 or 3 flights What did they go there to discuss? And when they go, they come back, they come to lie to us that they have entered the treaties, they've entered agreements that are not realistic, that are not even there at all. Honestly, this is an act of total wickedness. See how masses are going through a lot of abject poverty, and 9.4 billion for just 2 people's trips and refreshment. Haba, is it what we humans don't have? Is it that we humans don't have conscience again? Of course, no conscience. They are there for themselves, and somebody is already defending them here. So I will not be surprised if I see more people defending them. Very, very bad way of looking at things. I'm telling you. So Christmas, so presidents and vice presidents we use 9.5 billion naira for Christmas. Nigeria is finished. Don't worry, now your turn. I say, don't worry, now your turn. It will get another person's turn. Okay. Oh. And some of your citizens are or have not eaten heartless fathers and wicked souls. Your times will soon come to an end. So what we're saying here is that no matter what it is, there are certain things that shouldn't even appear in the budget. Why not cut down your travel? What are you traveling to do? The house is not good. You are going outside. What we don't need going outside to go and advertise Nigeria. If you sit in house and build Nigeria, Nigeria will advertise itself publicly by default. I'm telling you, people will know that something is happening in Nigeria and they will come over. You don't need to be traveling all around the world advertising Nigeria, trying to connect to investors to come. You don't woo them. They only will read on the pages of the news. They will see it on television, on broadcast stations, that Nigeria has improved and everybody will want to come to Nigeria. How many times have we seen US advertising US, or UK or Canada or Australia advertising their country? How many times have you seen Ukraine or Russia advertising their country? How many times have you seen United Arab Emirates advertising their country to other people? They won't advertise it. You will come. It's only you that will come, because you will see that things are working. You will want to come. That is it. You want to come. It's quite unfortunate that this is the state that we have got in this country. God will help us. So thank you for listening. Let's have your comment, as they are budgeted for themselves, already secured their provisions in the 2025 budget that is to come, while Nigerians are suffering.